When Brandon Miller showed up in South Carolina, you'd have thought he was Hillary Clinton. They were screaming, lock him up, lock him up, lock him up. How in God's name does Malika Andrews not ask that question on draft night? She had to. I'm telling you, me or any other reporter that was in that situation has an obligation to ask a team, an NBA official, or somebody about that question.
What's going on there, guys? We back with another one, and today we got to talk about Malika Andrews and her finally giving Josh Giddey the same treatment that she gave Ja Morant at the NBA draft lottery, where she asked Adam Silver about Ja brandishing a firearm and what his suspension would be. Well, today she was able to ask Adam Silver about the suspension, or lack thereof to this point, of Josh Giddey, why he's still been allowed to play in the midst of such serious allegations. And more so than Malika's question, I was looking forward to Adam Silver's response, in my opinion, on this, because I wanted to see how he would handle this matter. I'm going to show you what she said about Ja Morant first, and then we're going to go back and look at what was just said about Josh Giddey, the question she asked, and we'll see how Adam Silver answered that. Let's peep.
Because this is the second time in about 2 months that Ja Morant, the star of the Memphis Grizzlies, has been seen on social media brandishing a firearm. And before he was reinstated after his suspension last time, he flew to New York, he sat down, he met with you. What did you say to him about how much more severe it would be if he did this again?
Well, we talked directly about the consequences first before we got to a subsequent potential to have done something wrong. We were very focused on the misconduct that was in front of us at the time. And frankly, most of our conversation was about how incredibly serious the first incident was of waving, a firearm on social media. And again, and the consequences there, an 8-game suspension was pretty serious, and something that he, at least to me, seemed to take incredibly seriously in that time. And we spoke for a long time about not just the consequences that could have on his career, but the safety issues around it. Could have injured, maimed, killed himself, someone else with an act like that. And also the acknowledgement that, as you said, he's a star. I mean, he has an incredibly huge following. Yeah. And that my concern, and I thought he shared with me, that millions, if not tens of millions of kids globally would see him as having done something that was celebrating in a way. That act of using a firearm in that fashion. And so I at least was left with the sense that he was taking this incredibly seriously. So honestly, I was shocked when I saw this weekend that video. Now, we're in the process of investigating it, and we'll figure out exactly what happened to the best we can then. The video's a bit grainy and all that, but I'm assuming the worst, but we'll figure out, exactly what happened there.
Josh Giddey, he's currently being investigated by both the NBA, the league, and the Newport Beach police for an alleged improper relationship with an underage girl. I wanted to ask you where that investigation stands and why the decision was made that he could continue to play for OKC while both of those investigations were going on.
I think if you look back, I can't think of many circumstances where we've suspended a player based on an allegation alone. And in this case, so we have an allegation, and then you have a police investigation and a parallel league investigation. I'd always also add that where there is a criminal investigation, we take a back seat. And so you have an allegation, you have an ongoing criminal investigation. That impacts how the players and the Players Association can work with us, because of course the player needs to protect his rights. So I'm not going to say never ever, but I think this is the path we've consistently followed in the past. There's an ongoing criminal investigation. Newport Police police opened up that investigation, notified us. We then take a back seat, and that's where things currently stand.
Yeah, so guys, you hear what Malika said there. You hear Adam Silver. He says, these are just allegations. We don't have enough information. And I guess, that's cool for him to say, right? But I want to see how they handle this matter as more comes out. If Giddey is guilty of this, if the family is being vague in the sense that they just don't want to get him in trouble and they're not disclosing information, are they pretty much conceding that the girl lied about her age and Giddey thought she was of age at the time? Because you got to remember, this happened like 2 years ago, year ago. Josh Giddey could have been 19, 20. So if he thought she was 18, they was right there within the same age limit, So that's very important in this case. I'll give him that. But a lot of us was looking to see how Adam Silver felt about this and if he thought this offense was punishable, because, he was asked about Ja and he said he's going to deal with him harshly. And my problem is, in that investigation, the second time they found out that it was a lighter. So they suspended him for imagery more than anything. And Ja brought some of that on himself, right? It wasn't like a first time offense. And the whole thing with the Pacers bus, I knew anything that looked like an offense would get him suspended at that point. Have no problem with them sending a message to him. But if Giddey is out here moving like that and someone has come to the conclusion that he knowingly did that, or he was out there moving sloppy looking for, because they saying he got tickets out there and all kinds of stuff in Newport Beach. So looking at this, if it's determined that Giddey was moving that way and he willingly did some of these things, I think he should get more than a slap on the wrist, man, to be honest with you. But I want to show y'all that Malika Andrews finally spoke out and asked the question, and Stephen A. said they're forced to ask these questions on his podcast. Pretty much they have to do it or they're going to get somebody else to do the job. So I want to know what you guys think about that fact, that Stephen A. Smith said. And how do you feel about the way Malika Andrews asked this question and the way she talked about Jaws as far as him brandishing firearms and different things like that? Do you think it's the same or you think it's different? Let me know in the comments. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Till next time. Peace.